Hey, how's it going? Well, it's not Monday. I know I'm a couple days late, and I know that I got another one coming up. I want to tell you guys a story. So, some of you guys may know this, you probably don't, but I am a living, breathing, walking contradiction. And what I mean by that is I was called that recently because of some stuff that I'm going to explain to you right now. So before I tell you the whole story, I got to preface it with years ago, I had an emergency surgery. It was about 7 or 8 years ago, and some of you guys will know the story already. I had an emergency surgery. And when I got, so I was in like super bad pain, all of a sudden out of nowhere, I guess there were some signs and symptoms, but they were very minimal. I felt like my kidneys hurt, nothing major, nothing that made me think I needed to go to a hospital. And one day I'm watching the Cardinals game, and I'm laying on my couch, and I nod out, and I wake up. And this particular couch had, each seat was like boxed out. So there was a hard ridge in between the cushions, which I knew that. So you have to lay specifically so you kind of fit into those grooves. It was more comfortable that way. And I ended up waking up, and I had like a dull pain in my ribs. And I thought like maybe I coughed and I was in pain. But it was dull, and after the game was over, I had set up for somebody to come pick me up, and we were going to go look at a washer and dryer, and I was potentially going to purchase this washer and dryer and take it home and set it up, and all the way there, and he had a truck. I didn't have a truck at the time, I had my Avalanche, but it was out of commission, and so we ended up picking it up, taking it home, and by the time we got back to the house, I was in like really bad pain. It was hurt to breathe. I felt like I broke a rib or a cracked rib. We got it set up, we got it turned on, everything was good. And then within a little while, I was in like excruciating pain, and I ended up calling somebody who I knew who had a similar pain to find out, and they had their gallbladder removed, to find out what kind of symptoms they had. And they're like, you gotta go to the hospital, I'm coming to get you, we're going to the hospital. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I went to the ER, and now I'm in the waiting room, and next thing you know, I'm like, the pain is so bad, I'm on the ground doing the fish. And so then they come to me and they're like, hey, there's an infection in your body, and what kind of problems are you dealing with? I'm like, I got nothing. I have no idea. An infection. I'm like, I got a toothache. I don't know. Maybe it's infected. And they're like, no. It's in your blood. It's serious. And I'm like, I got nothing, dude. I have no idea. So then they went and looked at my history, and they didn't find anything. The only thing they could find was in the early 90s, I had gotten a physical to play sports in high school. Here we are in like 2018, and they're like, what is going on? And I was like, I never had a bone sticking out of my body before, so I never needed a hospital. And they're like, they just couldn't fathom that I hadn't seen a doctor or anybody since 92. And so it was I ended up, turns out the surgeon said the gallbladder was the worst she'd ever seen, and had it opened up when I was waiting room. I was dying. That's not the point of the story, just a side note. But anyways, so years later, Ariana had a doctor that we're talking to, and he was trying to prescribe her medication, and I was trying to explain to him that I just wanted to know what he was going to put her on and why. And he didn't like that, and then I explained to him basically what I just told you guys, which is that, I don't go to the doctor unless I have a bone stick, unless I need to. Obviously, it's not an issue because I'm still here, you know. So anyways, he had put an area on his file that I was resistant to medication, which I was really upset about because I'm all for anything that will help, but I am not all for, you know, playing Dr. House on my daughter. And so anyways, the point of this is, you know, some people would say that I am like one of these, this term that they have now, like an anti-vaxxer or something. That's not the case. And the truth of the matter is, what I'm anti is petroleum-based medicine and the idea that there's a pill to fix everything. And, you know, it's not that I'm against it. It's just not for me. You know, I have a choice and I choose not to participate. So, with that being said, some of you may or may not know that I am on a weight loss journey. I've been working out with Cheyenne and her husband, doing boxing training a couple days a week, and it's been awesome, and they're amazing. And I've lost like 40 pounds. But beside, you know, doing my workouts in a sauna suit and sweating, and, you know, I need to work out more. You know, I'm half dieting and half not dieting. But what I am doing is I've been purchasing peptides from a local company, getting them shipped to my house, mixing them myself, and injecting them myself into my stomach. If you've taken these before, then you know how this works. And these days there's a peptide for everything. I did some research and I talked to some people who are on the peptides or had taken them, and they and I decided to take the GLP-3, which the GLP-3 is actually GLP-1 with some other stuff added to it. The way that I understand it, based on the research that I did, is these medications like Wegovy and tirzepatide and all these are the pharmaceutical companies taking these peptides and adding some, I'm assuming, petroleum-based items, and then giving it their cool little name for whatever reason. However that name thing works, I don't know, because I don't participate. But and that's what it is. That's what these Wegovy and tirzepatide and all these things are. They're actually GLP-1s. From the testimonies I've heard, GLP-3 is a little bit cleaner, a lot less side effects. I mean, I am getting virtually no side effects from it. It suppresses my appetite, but not like in the old ephedra appetite suppression. You know, I'll eat a meal and I'll feel full from that meal for hours and hours and hours, much longer than I normally would. I basically have cut out one meal altogether. And like I said, with the exercise and the semi-dieting and the GLP-3, I've lost about 40 pounds and I am kind of plateaued right now. I need to step up my exercises. I need to step up my dieting. I am only taking 50 units. I know I'm supposed to be taking 70, but you know, I've been taking 50 for quite. I worked my way up to 50. I take 50. I also take BPC 157. I started taking that back in like December. I had a problem with my shoulder. I went to a doctor. The doctor said it's a tear and that I probably will need surgery, and it wasn't going away no matter what I did. And I added the BPC 157. I started that with my regimen along with the vitamins. I'm also taking a ton of vitamins. I'll go over those in a second, but basically it healed. It's perfectly fine. And so I continue to take the BPC 157, not religiously like I do the GLP-3. I know that it helps with my recovery from my workouts. So that's the reason why I take it. Or if I'm just feeling like I am extra, like if I'm extra fatigued or extra sore, then I'll take it. I'm also taking a couple others, but basically everything I mean, for a long time, the truth of the matter is, for a long time, Grok was my doctor. I would go to Grok, and because that was the only place where you can get information that wasn't, I mean, the other AI bots wouldn't participate. They did, and then the pharmaceutical companies apparently tried to patent a natural product that is made in nature, which is the peptides, and they couldn't. That did not go through, and so the next thing they did is they started going after anybody that would tell anybody how to take the peptides. If you sell the peptides, or if you purchase the peptides, and you know that everything says this is for research purposes only. So if you're in any way affiliated with any of these companies, you can't tell anybody how to take the peptides, how to mix them, the proper dosage or anything. I know there's companies like Ways to Well that will give you a blood test, tell you what you're deficient in, tell you what peptides they think that you need based on your blood work, and will also go based on your weight and your diet and your amount of exercise, and tell you how much of each peptide you need to take and which ones are right for you. But I personally use Grok, and I'm pretty, I'll ask the same question 4 or 5 times and get the same answer. And it was mainly with mixing. I literally would ask, and then the next month I'd get a new shipment and have to ask again. And finally I wrote it all down, and then every once in a while, like, second guess myself and ask a third time, 4th time, 5th time, whatever, because it's different supplements or different peptides. But I feel healthy, I feel good. Some of you guys know I quit smoking, quit chewing. I chewed snus for years, for decades. Quit drinking. I did, though, and the truth of the matter is, I did that for religious purposes. I've gotten really involved in my church, and I just felt that it was, I just felt like it was wrong, and so I stopped. So I've been stopped. I'm trying to fix other things in my life that I feel like are wrong, but it's not the conversation we're having today. The conversation we're having today is about peptides and supplements. So if you're interested in any of this stuff and you have questions, please feel free to reach out. I know that the pharmaceutical companies done a tremendous job at trying to keep this out of all of our hands. One of the things that happened, that they did, was to prevent you or I from taking these peptides and not go to them and pay outrageous prices. Was these peptides have to be mixed with something called backwater. It comes dehydrated. They are not dehydrated, they are freeze dried, and then they're sealed, and then you have to add backwater to make the mixture. You don't ever shake it. You just roll it real lightly in your hand until it's clear, until everything's dissolved. Doesn't take very long. It's super simple. And then you start with the lower dose depending on your weight, and Grok will give you all this information based on your weight and what they find. I think I started the GLP-3 at 20 units, and then went to 30 after a month, then 40, and then 50, and then I could go all the way up to 70, but I've been keeping at 50. I don't think I'm gonna go any higher. I think I'm gonna change my diet and exercise more. The idea for me is to go to 4 days, 2 days with boxing training and 2 days on my own, probably strength training, because I'm not really trying to lose weight per se. I'm trying to prepare myself for whatever life throws my way, and just be healthy and fit, Like I said, if you have any questions, if there's anything that you're interested in or anything like that, feel free to reach out. I really don't have any issue talking about it one-on-one. It's been interesting. I haven't really, like I said, haven't had too many side effects there. And like I said, there's a peptide for everything. If there's any, there's a peptide that they found recently. I heard about it on a podcast that makes you tan, and I guess that one supposedly has side effects. And there's some pictures of a guy who apparently has been taking it, and it made him super tan. And apparently, from what they said in the podcast, I haven't researched it yet. I just heard about it recently, but apparently it gives you a raging hard-on to the point where it's dangerous, and like if you leave a microwave and a hot dog in a microwave too long, it's like dangerous like that. I don't know. It doesn't sound very appealing, and I have no need for melanin. But apparently this peptide will give you a tremendous amount of melanin along with some other side effects. I don't know. If you're interested, feel free to reach out. Like I said, I haven't really had too many issues. I feel healthy. I wake up, I feel healthy. Some of the side effects that I was worried about was fatigue from the GLP-3. I haven't really felt that. Of course, I'm also taking creatine, which is giving me some energy, and quercetin. So the supplements I'm taking right now, quercetin, creatine, vitamin D, vitamin C, a B complex with B12, and one that I heard from a doctor. Man, it's slipping my. I'll have to go in there and look at it. I'm having a brain fart. It's what in the heck is it called? I'll have to go in there and look at it. I just got home. Give me a second. So the supplement was methylfolate. It's supposed to be really, really, really good for you. I have a mount that's connected to my phone. And it's trying to control my camera. Well, phone not mounted. Yeah, no kidding. How do I turn this damn thing off? Anyways, I have taken what's it called? Alpha Brain in the past. I actually just took it recently, but I don't know. It's kind of expensive, and I don't know if I really need that, considering everything else I'm taking for cognitive efficiency. That's what the creatine's for, but it works in it works for a couple of things. It helps with the workouts on top of now they've found that it works for your cognitive ability as well. Like I said, if you have any questions, interested in it, even a little bit, let me know. I have no problem pointing you in the right direction or answering any questions you might have. The stuff works, and you do your due diligence, read the information. The two places that I've gone to buy peptides are both American. To my knowledge, from my research, there's only 5 companies that are in America that sell the peptides. I know I met a girl electrician on a job who was taking them, and she was getting them from, I think, India, but it could have been China. But I wouldn't take that. I researched the companies, and one of them was a referral from somebody that also buys from that company, and it comes with a certificate showing, you know, the like that it's 99% what it says it is. I'll have to, maybe I'll put one in the comments, a picture of one. I'm sure I have one somewhere. Actually, if you want to see what they look like. Let's see here. This is the BPC 157. It's already pre-mixed. I don't have any that, oh, I do have one that's not mixed. So there was one that I bought that I thought I was gonna take. It was a situation where you basically take 10 units like 3 times a day, 4 times a day, like every 8 hours, and after 2 weeks, it would cause your body to create more HGH. And I ended up buying a little bit, and it came in 2 separate vials. And so, let me see what that's called. So I can show you what one looks like that hasn't been mixed, because like I said, I end up not using them. I just kind of stored them. One was mixed, one was not. So this is what it looks like unmixed. You can see it's like a white powder substance. And this is called, I need one for my eyesight, GHRP2. It was, I took it, the one dose one time, and I just felt uncomfortable. And this particular one, Grok was very specific about don't take it with anything else. And I don't know, taking it 8 hours a day, or taking it every 8 hours, I think that it just didn't want to stop everything else just to take that. And then it just made me feel uncomfortable, so I stopped. I've been sitting on it. I should probably throw it out because it's been sitting for, at least the one that hasn't been mixed, or the one that was mixed, it's been sitting for some time. Anyways, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, actually hold your concerns. You can take those to Grok, but if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask. And I'll guess at some point I'll keep you guys posted. Like I said, I lost a ton of weight. I'm working out regularly. I feel good. I feel healthy. You know, I feel strong. So I don't know. If you're interested, let me know. But anyways, stay prayed up.